You ready to like dive deep into this language learning thing?
I'm ready when you are.
All right. So today we're looking at this. Someone sent in this account of someone learning English
Mm-hmm.
over 30 months.
Wow, 30.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like 30 months. That's a serious commitment to.
To anything,
Yeah.
really. I mean, that's
Yeah.
like more than 2 years.
Yeah, that's a big chunk of time.
It is.
And yeah, so this is their whole journey, their ups, their downs, their tips, their tricks,
They're failures.
their failures, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was really struck by kind of how they talked about the beginning versus the end.
Okay.
Like they were super excited, obviously, to start this journey,
I mean, who wouldn't be?
right? And I think they learned a lot really fast at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but then it's like they hit this wall,
Yeah.
like where they felt like they'd plateaued.
Well, you sort of expect that with any kind of like language learning,
Yeah.
right? Like at first you're learning all this basic stuff, like
The easy stuff.
the easy, yeah, exactly, and then you get to like the more complicated grammar,
Yeah.
and it's just harder to make progress.
Totally. And
Yeah.
that's when a lot of people, I think, give up.
Right.
But this person didn't.
No, they didn't.
And so I'm really curious to dig into like what they did to kind of push through that wall.
Yeah, me too.
One thing that they talked about that I thought was super interesting was this technique called shadowing.
Oh yeah, shadowing. I've heard of that.
Have you tried it?
I haven't tried it, but I've heard good things.
Yeah. So basically it's like you're watching a movie or listening to something in English in this case,
Okay.
and you just like try to mimic,
Oh, so you like talk along with it?
you talk along with it. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's supposed to help with your pronunciation and like sounding more natural when you speak.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds kind of awkward.
Yeah. I tried it with Spanish once
Yeah.
and I felt really ridiculous like talking to my TV.
Right.
But yeah, but this person was saying that it was like a total game changer for them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So like how did it change things for them?
Well, they said that it helped them break through that plateau that we were talking about,
Hmm?
and that it actually helped them start thinking in English.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
they weren't like translating in their head anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what they said. And I think that that's like a really key point that they made.
All right.
Because, we all have different ways of learning,
We do?
and what works for one person might not work for another.
Absolutely.
And so it's kind of like you have to experiment
You have
to
to
find what really works for you.
find what clicks for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for this person, it was shadowing.
That's cool.
So, they were learning grammar, they were learning vocabulary,
Right.
but then they were also using this technique to kind of like
Put it all together.
put it all together
Yeah.
and make it sound more natural.
Make it more fluent.
Yeah. And I think that that's like a really important part of language learning that sometimes gets overlooked.
I agree.
It's not just about like knowing the rules.
It's about being able to use it
It's about being able to use it.
in the real world.
Yeah. Yeah. And this person talked about how learning English like really opened up a lot of doors for them.
In what way?
Like they made new friends.
Oh, cool.
They had new job opportunities.
Wow.
And they even felt confident enough to travel to like English speaking countries by themselves.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And they specifically mentioned how it helped them in their career.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were able to like access research and stuff that was only available in English before.
That's huge.
Yeah. So it wasn't just like a personal thing for them.
It was professional too.
It impacted their professional life as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good reminder that like language can be a really powerful tool.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's easy to forget that sometimes.
It is.
When you're just like focused on the grammar rules and stuff.
Yeah, right.
But like it can really open up a whole world of possibilities.
It can.
Yeah.
Sure.
And, it wasn't all sunshine and roses for this person.
What do you mean?
Like they were really honest about the challenges.
Yeah.
Like they talked about moments of self-doubt
Mm-hmm.
and frustration.
I mean, it's hard.
It is hard. Yeah. And like sometimes feeling like they weren't being understood,
Right.
which is like so relatable.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they kept going.
They did.
And I think that's what's really inspiring about this whole story.
It is inspiring.
It's like they didn't give up,
Yeah.
even when it got tough.
Right. And I think that's something we can all learn from. Like no matter what you're trying to achieve, there are going to be obstacles,
Mm,
but it's important to keep going,
yeah.
even when it's hard.
Yeah. And this person talked about how they found a lot of support in like online communities.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. They mentioned like language exchange platforms and like connecting with native English speakers online.
Okay.
And I think that's a really cool aspect of language learning that maybe it wasn't available so much in the past.
Right.
But now with the internet, like you can connect with people from all over the world
From all over.
and practice your language skills.
Right.
And I think that's like a really valuable resource.
It is.
Yeah. So, we've talked about the highs, the lows, the methods that worked, the doors that opened.
Challenges, the triumphs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a really inspiring story.
It is.
But now I want to turn it over to you listening.
Okay.
What about you? What skill or area of knowledge would you pour 30 months of passion and effort into?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, like what's something that you've always wanted to learn, but maybe you haven't made the time for, or
Right.
you've been too intimidated to start?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine what could happen if you committed to it for 30 months.
Imagine the transformation. Yeah. I mean, this story really shows us that, like, anything is possible if you set your mind to it and you
Sure.
put in the work.
Yeah. So what will your 30-month journey be?
It's worth thinking about.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for listening.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.